So when you go down that really crazy rabbit hole that I did, looking at my ancestry and my DNA, which was like wild shit that happened in my life. And it put me on this spinning crazy, who are the Israelites? Because one of the very first things I found when I was looking at ancestry.com is that I come from royalty, which I didn't realize because my family, my grandmother, my mom were like dirt poor people. Like life was really tough for them. But one of the things that they had, what was different is I can actually trace my lineage back, right? And which a lot of people can't. And I think that has to do with the orphan train kids. So mine seem to have gotten past that, and I'm able to get my ancestry. So my ancestry goes to Scotland, and it is the kings of Jerusalem. And it's like, what? That doesn't make sense. Why would Scottish people have anything to do with Jerusalem, right? So I had to go in there and I had to look at what was going on about Jerusalem. Why were my ancestors called the kings of Jerusalem, right? And then I started looking at Jerusalem, and I found out there was multiple Jerusalems all over the world. If you look at world maps, there's many different. There was one in Scotland, there was one and even in Africa, and that's where you get the name Salem from, right? Like you may not have known that. Salem is the city of peace, which is what Jerusalem means, city of peace. It was a place of refuge, of protection, right? So the city of peace. And so I started looking into that, and I thought, and Constantinople was actually called Jerusalem before it was Constantinople, and now it's called Istanbul, right? So that was really strange. So we get to go right all over there, right? And in America, and if you look into Jerusalem, it's all over the place. And then I started looking into it. Well, why would I be called why would I have a lineage to the kings of Jerusalem? Because I'm not an Israelite. I'm not a Jew. I'm white, and I've got green eyes, but I don't know if you can see it on this. The app is probably changing the color of my eyes, but I got green eyes, and I was a redhead, right? Like I'm a real Scottish, Irish, maybe Viking kind of girl, right? And yet I have this ancestry that blew my mind. And so I started looking into my ancestry. And I started looking into who were the Jews, who were the Israelites, because we really focus on Judah, right? Like that's the Jews. That's the people basically who are sitting there right now in the Middle East are the Judahites, right? The Jews. That's where we get the name Jew, because it's just like you get it, right? But if you count, there may have been 13 tribes, right? Because Joseph had 2 sons, and the gift was not given to Joseph, but it was given to his son. So some debate whether there was 13 tribes and not 12. So anyways, and then people believe that those 2 tribes was because he was marrying somebody who was not an Israelite. But if you go into it and you really look at that, he actually did marry again another Israelite. It just happened to be another family of Israelites, same race of people. Okay. So yeah, so I'd done a lot of studying and this also it's years and years. I was a minister for 19, I can't take 20 because I stopped that, for 19 years, from the time that I was 21 years old until the end of that, right? And then I stopped doing that. I stopped being a minister, and but I've never stopped looking into these things. So why don't we get these churches that are Christian Judah churches? And I thought, like, that's an oxymoron because, but it's because all the 12 tribes are together. And that's what I started to find. I'm going to show you a YouTube that you can go to, a number of them that you can go to show that the European people are the Israelites, not necessarily the Jews. The Jews are the Judites, right? Like they're Judah, right? But yet when it really comes down to it, like my daughter has Judah in her, and we know that from DNA that she has it because her father has that mixture in it. But that doesn't mean that they are, the other people who are European are not Israelites in the broad sense of who the Israelites really were. You will find that America was basically settled by the Judites. Who else was it? And Canada is like the Danites. The Danites were the Danish, and they were those people, right? So they were blue-eyed, blonde-haired people. The Danish people were the Danites. And people say, well, the Danites were cursed. The Danites are all over the place. You will find that is all over the place. And then when you look at the emblems that are in our House of Representatives in Ontario, that ancient building that there is, you will see the representation to the Israelites, because the Israelites, Canada is made up of a number. We're made up of the Japhites. We're made up of the Danites. We're made up of the Judites. We're made up of all of these different tribes that settled America, that brought that to them. You're going to find the Israelites are the ones that settled around the world and that brought civilization. But it was different tribes, but they were the same people. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you, Israelites? You are God's chosen people. The Canadians, the ones who look like me, are God's chosen people. And they were to spread and go around the world and spread their knowledge, bring and Canada did a really good job, but then they sort of fell off of the turn of Trump because they became too liberal. But we had this wonderful thing because really what were the Israelites were supposed to do? They were to set up kingdoms, to bring peace to the earth, actually, to bring laws for the people. And they were really, when it really comes down to it, they were a people from a civilization that survived a natural disaster. And they were the people that came from that had high civilization. They were probably living with electricity and shit like that we don't even know about. When you start looking into all of that, we had technology in the past because we cannot even build the buildings of the cathedrals. Think about St. Petersburg. Like, honestly, stop the video right now and take a look at that and see when they said that building was built and the people that they said who built that building. Well, those people who built those buildings were the people that lived in the 1,000-year reign of Jesus Christ, because Jesus only went to the lost sheep of the Israelites. Prove me wrong, because those are his words. And he went to the house of all of the tribes of Israel, to the lost sheep. He was only commissioned to go. Where did he send his people? To Rome and to Greek and to all of those places. You are Israel. I'm not saying that you should have anything to do with the Israeli shit that's going on. But the Israelites, the Jews, are your brothers and sisters. The Canadians and Americans and the Europeans and the English and all the people that are being pushed out of their world right now, out of their countries, are Israel. And what do they say at the end? When you surround his holy people, sudden destruction will come upon you.